Peoples of the worldwide federated internet, what's good? Okay, I want to get right into this. I want to respond to something that was commented on my video yesterday morning. I'm going to read the comment from the person, and I believe they sent this in good faith. So this is definitely not an argument, but I want to clarify my position because I think maybe I was misunderstood. And this is the reason why I want to read your statement, whoever you were who commented on my YouTube video, and I'm going to read your comment. You said the difference between Biden and Clinton is night and day for voters. For years of Trump, or 4 years of Trump, could also have turned things around for voters. I don't think there is much of a conspiracy as you're wanting us to believe. Even Trump didn't think he was going to win in 2016. Things can change drastically in 4 years. Okay, I'm going to start by saying you are 100% correct, whoever you are. Things can change drastically in 4 years. And as far as what I want you to believe, so I'm going to try to make my position on the way I make arguments as clear as possible. These are my thoughts. I try my best to be objective. It doesn't matter who you support or who you're against. I try to be consistent in the way I think, and it really doesn't matter to me who you support. I make it a point to try to be objective. I did a video about both Joe Biden and President Trump maybe a couple weeks ago, and I went over some of the inconsistencies in the life of President Trump. And I dealt with it a lot even before talking about Joe Biden. Now, I don't do that just out of a sense of some false nobility. I'm trying to be objective here. Okay, so in that objectivity, I'm going to use one anecdote, some anecdotal evidence. And this is something I said days ago. I said, it's hard for me to reconcile what I can see with my eyes versus what the media is telling me. And let's go to Pennsylvania and use that as an example. When I saw the rallies in Pennsylvania, I was like, this is interesting. These crowds are nothing short of out of this world. One of the last rallies that Trump did in Pennsylvania, he got like 54,000 people. That was the estimate. That's insane. That is nuts. Now, when I looked at that and I heard all of the pundits saying how far Joe Biden was ahead in the polls in Pennsylvania, I was like, I find this hard to believe. And so then when the votes started being tallied and I saw how far President Trump pulled ahead of Joe Biden in Pennsylvania, I said that makes sense. That lines up with what I'm seeing with my own eyes. The pundits were saying one thing. The polls were saying one thing. Whoever they questioned, I don't know. And what I saw with my own eyes was different. And what I'm seeing in the vote count lines up with what I saw with my own eyes. So let's take and again, this is not me wanting you to believe anything. I am conveying my thoughts and trying to be as objective as possible. When I saw President Trump's rallies in Arizona, if I had to guesstimate, looking at his rallies and looking at Biden rallies, I said to myself, it'll probably be a tight race. I'm not going to say it's going to be, a give me, but it's a likely, just from what I'm seeing, that President Trump wins Arizona. Okay, fast forward to November 3rd. Fox News, from what I'm told, what I was reading, they called Arizona before anybody else. That was a mistake. And I've said this before. People make Fox News out to be this news organization that's just so benevolent, and they're so good, and they're the anti, whatever culture. Fox News is just like CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all the rest of these alphabet networks. They are no different. Maybe at some point in the past they were different and they were actual news. There's no cable news network that is actual news. And about the only actual news we get nowadays is quite possibly local news, if that sometimes. Okay, so I want to read the definition of conspiracy because the person that responded to my video said that in their response. A combination of men for an evil purpose, an agreement between two or more persons to commit some crime in concert, particularly a combination to commit treason or excite sedition or insurrection against the government of a state, a plot as a conspiracy against the life of a king. Now, I want to ask this question, mainly to people who think I'm trying to push a conspiracy. Number one, conspiracies do happen. And I think we have been so bamboozled by this push to make the idea of a conspiracy somehow anathema, somehow something that's seen as, oh, you believe a conspiracy, you're crazy. People conspire against other people. That happens. Now, let's look at Russiagate. This is not hearsay, and this is not me pushing one way or another. And again, this is not about support for Trump or Biden or hatred for Trump or Biden. This is about being objective and just taking what we can physically see, what we know. We know that the whole Russia collusion scandal was by far and large a conspiracy. It was opposition research and people who use that opposition research to help a certain political candidate. That is a conspiracy. You had two parties that conspired against a candidate to delegitimize both his primary victory, both his run for president and his role as president. They tried to delegitimize everything he did. That is the truth. That is a conspiracy that is true. Now, there are theories about conspiracies, right? And there's nothing wrong with having a theory. Scientists have theories. A theory is a speculation, a doctrine, or scheme of things which terminates in speculation or contemplation without a view to practice. It is here taken in an unfavorable sense as implying something visionary, an exposition of the general principles of any science as the theory of music, the science distinguished from the art as the theory and practice of medicine, the philosophical explanation of phenomenon, either physical or moral. So this is the thing, and I'll read this part. Theory is distinguished from hypothesis. Thus, a theory is founded on inferences drawn from principles which have been established on independent evidence. So theories are not always void of evidence. There's sometimes circumstantial evidence that is not necessarily concrete, but you can point out these circumstantial things and theorize that it is possible that X, Y, and Z happen. The problem I have with people just throwing out willy-nilly throwing out the term conspiracy and the term conspiracy theory in a derogatory way is that you make the word conspiracy almost to be a curse, and you make the idea of a conspiracy theory almost to be like someone casting a spell. There are conspiracy theories that have now been proven as conspiracy fact. That is a thing. You can go to the freedomofinformationact.gov and look up many things that were thought to be wild, crazy conspiracy theories in the past that are now documented facts, things that actually happened. So I went on that whole rabbit trail, because this person said, I want people to believe a conspiracy. I want people to listen to objectivity, and I think that I'm being objective. Now, do I have my biases and my leanings? We all do. All I'm saying is looking at the way everything has played out, there are many things that don't make sense. And it is not beyond the realm of possibility that both the media, tech companies, and the political left in the country in concert devised something to deceive the people in the media. Now, you might think that is impossible, and you might think that that's some crazy conspiracy theory. It is neither crazy nor a crazy conspiracy theory to believe that. Now, is it a conspiracy theory? Yes, it is a conspiracy theory based on very legitimate circumstantial evidence. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't just write off what somebody says because they can't necessarily prove it with hard data right away. Because a lot of times there's things that you might not put together that someone else might put together, things that someone else might be thinking about that you might not be thinking about. And that's how a lot of conspiracy theories are uncovered as conspiracy fact, because somebody put two and two together and chased something down that someone else wasn't thinking about, and find out that, oh, I am not crazy. This is actually a thing. I mean, I don't think that I'm trying to force people or push people to think in one way or another, but I do want people to think, and I do believe I am being as objective as I possibly can. Now, maybe I'm not. And like I said, for whoever left a comment, I don't think you were being malicious, and I wanted to clarify my position. Hopefully I've done that. Hopefully I've clarified my position. I have no problem with someone saying that that's a conspiracy theory about anything that I say, because I don't see a conspiracy theory, as I just explained, as an evil thing, as most people think. Conspiracies are often real. Sometimes the details are a little bit muddy. Sometimes people get the details wrong, but the conspiracy is actually a thing, i.e., Operation Mockingbird. If you don't know what it is, go to the freedomofinformationact.gov. You can search for different release documents and look up the search term Mockingbird. Like, these are things that people thought were happening, and they had some of the details mixed up, but they connected some dots, and it turned out that these people's conspiracy theories were conspiracy fact. Everyone criticized Alex Jones when he mentioned the Bohemian Grove. They thought he was a wacky nut job, and Alex Jones says a lot of crazy things. But when he took his videos at the Bohemian Grove and people saw it for themselves, there's many people who were mind blown, me included, because a lot of the things he was saying that just seemed insane, 100% true. And this is the problem with just dismissing a thought without giving it consideration. Hopefully I've made my case. Y'all know what it is. Stay frosty, people.